So the prompt this time was to do a little dragon fellow who was a writer, and he wanted to write the greatest epic adventure ever, but didn't really have any good ideas for it. So he enlists with a group of knights and soldiers and heroes of fantasy and legend, and decides to chronicle their adventures. And he has a tendency to always write himself in a more heroic light than he actually is. So I think he's a bit more of a coward who hangs back and lets all of his allies handle all the tough stuff, but then is very quick to take credit for it. The character was created by a friend of mine who asked me to draw him up, and so that's what I did. And the story kind of reminded me of Geoffrey Chaucer Canterbury Tales, so I have named this version of the character Chaucer. I've modeled the body. I'm not actually really sure where I got the idea. I wanted cartoony dragon, and the head just kind of popped into my mind, and with these feather-looking ears and the beak, very kind of reptilian beak. It does look a little bit like a bird, but I ultimately am okay with that, so I decided to keep it. And the costuming I based on sort of a Landsknecht kind of design, because I've been kind of looking into those designs recently, and I gave him a quill pen there and a little journal that he can keep track of all of the adventures he is embellishing. I went into it with no concept of what color I was going to make anything. And so I changed the clothing around a little bit, as you saw there. And I put in this kind of like yellow tannish color that I thought kind of looked similar to the skin of like a bearded dragon. And it might look a little bit too much like a flesh tone, but I ultimately kind of like it, so I decided to just stick with it. A lot of these like fantasy characters, like dragons, you don't always see depicted as the most realistic animal color. You usually see very vibrantly colored dragons, like very bright reds and blues and green, I guess would be the most realistic. But I saw a bearded dragon in there, like kind of a light brown, and I decided to go with that and give it some texture and make it look lizardy or reptilian for that, at least reptilian. And then this is a much quicker one. It's only about 4 minutes, so it's a lot shorter than the last few I've done, but it was a nice, simple little cartoon character that I think is he's just kind of cute, and it was a funny concept to me, so I decided to go with it. And here you can see I threw in something of a background, not a big deal on that, but I hope you like this one. This one is Chaucer, the writer, the author, little dragon guy. Thanks.